Look at here. This is, for example, this is not a CCI topology. This is a simple CCNP SD-WAN topology, the basic topology. So here, look at here, for example, let's say this is a vManage, this is a vManage, this is a vBond, this is a vSmart, and these are, for example, my branches. And here is, for example, my LAN. And it's connecting through the ISP or the, for example, let's say the MPLS. Okay, so these are, for example, and all these branches, for example, the hundred of branches I am managing through where? I am managing through the vManage. And that means all configuration I will do where? Into the vManage. And I will push to where? I will push to the my branch router. That means it's called a vEdge. This is a branch router. Okay. If I want to implement any kind of the policy, Shabab, if I want to implement any kind of the policy, I will again configure all policies, for example, into the vManage, and I will push to the controller, the vSmart, and vSmart will, for example, push the configuration to the vEdges. This is like what? Let me show you the dashboard. Maybe few of you are familiar with this. Look at here, this is the dashboard. This is a vSmart, this is a WAN edges, that means the branches. That means if I want to configure anything, if I want to deploy or implement the policies, if I want to configure the security thing, I want to configure the cloud, everything I'm sitting into the central place. That is in the SD-WAN called vManage. And all every configuration where into the through the vManage. Look at here what we do. Let's say, for example, you are an engineer, you find out recently okay, there is a one place. Let's talk about, for example, let's say Baha or Abha. Okay, we will open a new branch, for example, the new branch into the, for example, let's say the Abha. Okay, or maybe the new branch, for example, in the Sharjah. Okay, or maybe the new branch in the Cairo. Anyway, okay, so here what you do, you will create as an engineer, you will create in advance the template. You will create what in the advance the template. Okay, in the new branch, maybe you configure OSPF, maybe you configure BGP, maybe, for example, the IPsec, okay, for example, and so on. So all you configure in the advance in the template. Once the time came, so what you do, you just only edit the template. For why you want to edit? Maybe, for example, in the Cairo branch, of course, you are using, for example, let's say the 15.5.7.1. So like 30. This is the different IP address, or maybe here also the different IP address, the different IP address. So you need to edit, for example, your IP addressing and the different stuffs. So you in advance, okay, one day you are free. So you create in advance the template. Once the time came, you just edit the template and you just push, for example, your template to that particular, for example, branch. Let me show you. So here there is a template. Here, for example, there is a template, and you can create, for example, a different templates. And these are the different templates. For example, you create a template for the BGP, you create a template for the VPN, you create a template, for example, here for the MPLS, you create a template, for example, the OSPF. Okay, the different template you create into the, for example, in advance. And then what you do, so you will these templates you will push into where? To the devices. So look at here, these are the devices. The devices means what? The devices means your branch device, the vEdge. So let's say, for example, this is the branch are in the, for example, in the Cairo. So you want to, for example, deploy all the configuration on the Cairo. So you will push all configuration on this device. So that means your Cairo branch is configured. automatically within the less than 1 minute. So this is the beauty of SD-WAN. And this SD-WAN you will learn in the Ccie in very depth. This topology I earlier explained to all of you. This is belong to the CCNP. That means the Ccie has a different topology. Now another thing is I want to configure, for example, let's say the policies you want to configure, you want to deploy. What you want to deploy? What you want to configure? Let's say you configure a policies. Okay, in my branch, let's say this is my Jeddah branch. Okay, you want what all the users, whenever they want to access any services from the data center, they should use, for example, the MPLS path. If the branch, for example, if they want to communicate with the another branch, they should use a normal VPN path or DM VPN path. Then you need a policy. Okay, if, for example, in the MPLS, if the delay or the jitter is increased, let's say the delay is increased more than 30 milliseconds, then we want what? Or you want what? Okay, the traffic should automatically reroute from where? From the ISP. So you want to implement this kind of the policy. So that means what? You don't need to log into this device. That means like earlier in the traditional network, what we do? We need to log in through the SSH box by box. So what you do? You are managing these all branches through where? Through the vManage. And where is the vManage? In your headquarter or in your data center, for example. And you have access through the GUI. Like I have access to all these devices through the GUI. This is the GUI. So I will go to the here policies, for example. I will go to here policies and I will implement all policies. Look at here. Here I can implement the policies, the localized or the centralized. The localized means particular to that device. Let's say you want to configure a special policy in one of the branch, and that branch, for example, in the Singapore. So you can deploy or implement or push the policy to the one particular, for example, branch or one particular device, or you can implement or apply the policies to all, for example, devices. So if we want to implement policies to all the devices in the branch side, so that time we need to go to the where? We need to go to the, for example, here in the centralized policy. And everything we are doing through where? Through the GUI, graphical user interface. And we are not, for example, of course, we enter into the CLI mode. Of course, the network engineer is incomplete without the CLI. And the CCI, you will get how to troubleshoot, of course, through the CLI. You should be very good. You should be perfect in the CLI also, because the CLI gives us a clear, for example, output to troubleshoot the network. Now, I hope so till here everything is okay. Now let's talk about return back through the CCI. The CCI, friends, the lab exam is 8 hours. In the 2023, from the Ábád net till now, the 4 students appear and the Alhamdulillah, all students pass in the 2023. It is starting from the Feb, March, April, and May. The last before 2 weeks, one of our students passed, Faisal Anizi, mashallah. Now, this is the result of the 2023. So this exam, the CCI is about the 8 hours. In the 8 hours, you will face a 2 module. Module 1 and module 2. In the module 1, the fixed 3 hours If you are, for example, familiar with the CCI version 5, all of you maybe few of you, you are familiar with the version 5. So we have a flexible, for example, 3 modules, module 1, module 2, module 3. And in the module 1, we have a flexibility. But here is a fixed, for example, 3 hours. And then module 2 is 5 hours. Here you can do, for example, the design, optimize, drag and drop, troubleshooting like that. Okay, this is module. And the 5 hours is about the operations, configurations, and all. This is the fixed. Here in this module, like a Cisco, the trademark of the Cisco, we know that you cannot go back. There is no return back. That means once you finish, once you make the next, you cannot return back to the previous question. But in here in the configuration module, this is actually the main module. You can return back. You can go to the back. You can see all the questions in the advance, and you can, for example, attempt. Then you can return back. You can modify it and everything. So the total are 8 hours. Of course, the 8 hours, for example, once the first time, if we heard, oh, the CCI is about the 8 hours, okay, it's a too much time because we are in the CCNA, CCNP around, for example, 2.5 hours, 2 hours, like this, the 8 hours. But believe me, friends, this 8 hours for you as an engineer is not enough most of the time. Most of the students, you can say, for example, the 70% engineers, they not clear their CCI exam, not because of, for example, they forget the configuration or they not understand the task. Of course, they understand the task, they know all the configuration, but they don't have enough time. They don't have enough time. That's why, for example, they not clear in the first attempt. So the 8 hours is, for example, not for example, the big, once you enter into the exam center. It's a challenging, of course it's a challenging. That's why it's a highly paid, for example, certification in the market, in all over the world. Either you are in any, for example, country. We are in Saudi Arabia, so let's talk about the Saudi Arabia. Okay, so this is one of the most demanded certificate, the CCI, either in the enterprise, either in the security, either into the service provider or the data center. Then in the 2 modules, okay, dear, this is a 2 modules. Here is mentioned, Shabab, backward navigation is disabled. That means we cannot go backward. The points, each and every task, the points is a hidden. And here is what backward navigation is a enable. That means we can return back and we can go forward. And the points are shown here. And these are the 5 hours are the fixed. And here is, for example, 3 hours are the fixed. Here is about the configurations. Here is about design, troubleshoot, drag and drop, multiple choice like this. Then you should take the minimum passing score in both, for example, module. Like let's say, for example, in the module 1, we have a, for example, minimum passing score is 82%, for example. And in the module 2 also, for example, 82%. So we should take a minimum passing score in the both module, and then we become a CCI certified. I hope so. Till here, I just give you a little bit demo how after the CCI you become, for example, become an engineer. How you learn the technologies and how you find the solutions and how you implement and deploy the technologies about the network related. My name is Abdul Azim. I am from the Bombay, India. I'm teaching here the CCI for last couple of years. our new CCI course in the Ábاد net will start from the Friday at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. That means the 9th of June. And there is, I think, you need to contact, if you want to join, you need to contact to the management. I think they are offering the 20% discounts. What is the price? I don't know. Okay, but they are offering the, I think, the 20% discounts. So let's talk about the questions. If you have any queries, please go ahead and ask me. Feel free and ask me. You can text me here, the chat here, no problem. You can ask me if any question.
Thanks, Mr. Abdulazim. Actually,
Yeah,
this
thank you.
lecture is very informative.
Okay, thank you.
We appreciate your effort.
Thank you very much.
Anyway, I have a question about the exam.
Okay.
If you have any information, my question is, how much does it cost?
$1,600.
$1,600.
Yeah, $1,600 for the lab, to book the lab exam. But to book the lab exam, you should have a CCNP Enterprise Core. Like earlier I discussed, the
It
CCNP
is mandatory.
Yeah, mandatory. Yeah, yes, this is the mandatory. Okay. Once, for example, you are a CCNP Enterprise Core, then you are able to book or register your lab exam.
Okay, thanks for your time.
Okay, welcome. Yeah. Yes, any question here, Shabab? Again, repeat, our new CCI batch will start from this Friday, that means the 9th of June at 2 p.m. in Riyadh in Ábاد net center in Roda. And Ábاد net management is offering, training center is offering 20% discount.
Mr. Abdulazim.
Yes, yes. Yes, please, go
Okay.
ahead.
You speak about 20% discount. How
Yeah.
much it was before
I don't
discount?
know. I just know about this case. There is a 20% discount. Okay, so I will share the number. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I'm sharing the number now, my friend. Okay, this is the number, for example. So please feel free and contact the person. Inshallah, he will guide you all about your queries. Yes. Yes. Yes, yes. Cloud network is very good. This is the future. And we cover, for example, the automation. We cover, for example, the data modules. We cover about the Python scripting. We cover about the DNA center, SD access, the MPLS, and so on. We, of course, the depth, the BGP, OSPF, layer 2 technologies. We cover so many things. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you, Rakan. Yes. Yes, go ahead. This is the number, guys. All of you, my friend, I share this number. This is a number from the Ábاد net management. Feel free. You can call this person or text person anytime.
Mr. Abdulazim.
Yes, yes.
You will teach the Ccie infrastructure.
Yes, yes. I teach the CCI. Yeah.
Okay, because this is too much important, because I was taking many classes with you. You are one of the best teacher for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. No, Ahmed Hassan, the course will be not online. The course will be offline. We are planning, inshallah, the course maybe very soon, around after